Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rochelle Edwards, a Communications Assistant with the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. And I would just like to thank all our viewers for tuning in today to our live stream as we discuss the topic of wetlands in commemoration of World Wetlands Day today. So here with me to further educate both you and myself on the topic of wetlands, we have we have Deputy Director of the Northern Range Restoration Project, Mrs. Kathleen Belcon, as well as Wildlife Biologist and Head of Wildlife Section, Mr. David Mahabir. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
So before we begin, you are welcome to place your questions in the comment section, and we'll try to answer as much as possible coming down to the end of the segment. So let's begin. So normally, if we are dedicating a whole day to celebrating something, that means it's very important. So what is the significance of celebrating World Wetlands Day?
So World Wetland Day is celebrated annually on February 2nd, like every year. This year theme is Time for Restoration, meaning restoring our wetlands, especially our wetland areas, which have been 90% have been degraded. So across the world. So this is our time now to actually restore and get actually accept the benefits of what wetlands and the importance of it. This day is geared towards raising awareness about our wetlands and challenges that we face. It also marks Red Ramsar, the International Convention of Trinidad and Tobago, is a signatory to. That's the whole significance of it, is just the importance and the value of our wetland areas.
And if I might add, it also promotes the conservation and wise use of the wetlands, because we try to raise awareness, as my colleague said, through education. There's a lot about educating people about the importance of wetlands.
Okay, very nice. Where are the wetlands in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, we have over 200 wetland areas, but our three major wetland area is Nerva Swamp, Carney Swamp, and Bonacor Lagoon in Tobago. And that's our three Ramsar sites, the three biggest wetlands that we have. In the southern area, we have the Guadino Swamp, which is very important now, as you know, for scarlet ibis. And now we have flamingos, actually part of our wetland areas now over the past few years. So the wetland could be significant in terms of the different sizes and the areas, and yeah, that's more or less it.
So why is it important that we restore and conserve our wetlands?
So in order to restore and conserve our wetlands, a lot of our persons in Trinidad and Tobago depend on our wetland areas. So tourism. Persons use it for fishing. Also, it's an area that we'll find where it's a source called ibis and birds and everything. So it's important for us to protect it. Without our wetlands, we wouldn't have our national bird. We wouldn't have fish. It's a hatchery. Actually, it's a protected area for our hatcheries in terms of the fisheries and crab and cascadoo and different oysters, so it's very important for us to protect it. It's also a carbon sequestration. We're going to that as a whole long talk, but I mean it's one of the largest carbon sequestration in terms of our mangrove. It actually captures our carbon, so it wouldn't be out into the atmosphere itself.
Yeah.
As my colleague said, it's very vital to our hydrological cycle. It's highly productive. It supports rich biodiversity, provides a wide range of ecosystem services. And we go back to water storage, water purification, flood mitigation, storm buffers, erosion control. And of course, without our wetlands, as my colleague said, we wouldn't have fisheries. So very important. It's a natural nursery for fishes, because it's a safe place for fishes to hatch. It's important as a buffer against natural disasters and purified water. I mean, without wetlands, we would be in dire straits, basically.
And just to add to it, provide a biodiversity and helps maintain ecological integrity of other ecosystems. So it's not just one, it's a significant different
Yeah.
ecosystems.
And we keep talking about the environmental benefits, and you're touching it, but there's also the economical benefits because there are many small villages throughout the countries, the islands, that would depend on what they can catch. It's a very extractive space where you can get, as we would have said, shrimp, lobster, fish. So, I mean, when you think about wetlands, you think about livelihoods of rural people too.
Yeah.
So it's both social, economical, environmental, and cultural significance of that.
So we're emphasizing on protecting our wetlands. Why do you think, why do you think wetlands are the most threatened type of ecosystem?
Well, I personally tend to think it's because so much of its benefits are intangible. It's not like these big trees where we go and do timber production. You know, when you think about trees, you think about timber production. But when you think about the intangible benefits, the aesthetic beauty, like when you go on the boat ride to Caribbean and see the side highways, how do you put money? No, there's a way to evaluate it. But most people, the common folks, may not think about it. And when you think about stakeholders' perception, you may see a mangrove and it might be good to cut it down for land use. So I think it is because maybe it's a failure of us maybe reaching the right people, which is why we keep educating and sharing knowledge to show and educate them on the importance of wetlands. So that's why we are so grateful to being here today. I think people that don't, the common people, may not be aware of how important wetlands are to our very survival. I don't know.
More to add to that.
So what would you say possesses the greatest threats?
I would say human, in terms of, as Ms. Belcom mentioned, clearing down our wetland areas, such as our mangroves and our illegal harvesting of the water itself, you know, plus environmental factors, which would be like pollution of our waterways and, you know, all those different aspects of it. It's a big threat to our wetland area.
I would think in the past, rice production
in
the river swamp was a big issue. So uncontrolled farming, unregulated land use, sewage waste going in from households into the carrying swamp. Of course, climate change. Climate change is a threat to every ecosystem out there. But a lot of it is driven, as what my colleague said, from man. You know, but if we want to break it down, pollution, chemicals from agricultural farming, unregulated farming, fires, overexploitation of the same crabs. Because remember, everybody looking for a livelihood. And as the threats increase, the supply of the shrimp and stuff that people depend on for money might be dwindling. So there's overexploitation, over harvesting. And when you have a society that is developing as quickly as we are, again, maybe some people don't see the importance of mangroves and look at the land. So you're talking about backfilling the land for industrial or for buildings. Those has been serious threats to our mangroves in our country.
And I'm more scientific to add to that, sea level rise. When you have additional more salt water together with the fresh water, you have more brackish. And with sea level rise, there's a major threat now to our mangrove areas. So we have mangrove dieback, you know, all these different aspects.
To the actual trees. And as SIDS are in a development stage, we can't get away from sea level rising. So that's a natural phenomenon of climate change. Well, as natural as climate change is, because we know it's man-derived, but that's a whole different topic.
That was very informative because I didn't even know that. But are there any groups that the public can get involved in to help with the restoration and conservation of wetlands?
And the government agencies will have the EMA, Environmental Management Authority. We have Institute of Marine Affairs, obviously the Forestry Division, and other NGOs that help conserve our wetland areas.
Well, I would surely recommend, if there are any youth groups listening to us this morning, we have a forestry information unit in the Forestry Division. We have resources in the ministry. We can work with you all to help you all
not start your youth group, but kind of guide you how you can assist in helping restore. Maybe teach. Forestry Division has a long history of teaching community groups how to help conserve. We're talking about the Turtle Village. That started with forestry helping the community members understand the importance of turtles, and now it's such a big movement. So I think if we could get to the youth, we could have a change, a movement. So you can move away from government agencies and kind of decentralize to the same common folks so that then the understanding will filter to everybody in society.
Yes, because I believe that we shouldn't just wait on corporate entities to put measures in place. It starts with us.
Exactly.
You know, like Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror. That's with you. So the preservation of wetlands has been identified in the Sustainable Development Goals. What needs to be done to achieve these goals?
Basically, everything we say now.
Yeah, implementation of revised policy. You know, in order for us to protect our wetland and conserve it. You know, also improvement in enforcement and laws. Different same thing, different policies too. We could change in order to adapt to what our wetlands are is presently. Change over time. So that's why our laws and our policies need to be, you know, updated, which the ministry is actually doing over the past few years. Yeah, we have done that. What we're doing here today, educating the public.
Yeah.
You know, also government and private sector need to cooperate together. Because government alone cannot do it. We need everybody to be part of it.
Yeah.
And that's helping to achieve our goals.
So, in addition, the actual groundwork of actually going to replant. The literal, figurative, taking a seat and replanting. Reclaiming lands and replanting. And fortunately for us, we have a group in one of our government programs, National Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Project, that does that. But that's just one group. So, I mean, if there's any groups out there that is willing to do it, we need hands on deck because we are straddled for cash for staffing, staff shortage. So if nothing beats the actual going in and actually planting. So that's just how the mangroves will reclaim for other things. Let's take it back. Of course, following policy and guidelines. We're not talking about this advocating for chaos, but still some advocacy. Still some stakeholder engagement, still some connections, still saying we have to do a bit more than what is being done. And keep the fire burning after this. Keep sharing the knowledge, keep the fire burning. I think instead of we just waiting for, which we don't do by the way, but I guess society thinks we wait only on this day. But we don't. On the background, every single day, David and his crew, my colleague and his crew would be there doing law enforcement. Making sure the mangroves don't burn. So we do it, but people don't see it. And I think maybe we need to be more visible and share what we do more. And as David said, exactly what we are doing here right now helps.
Well, I'm glad I'm part of that. So we are now opening the floor for any questions that you may have. But someone just asked why wait for a special day to show concern. And you just mentioned
we don't.
Even though you might not see it publicized.
We don't. We want to ensure that members of the public that behind the scenes, every single with our employees, we go in there, we maintain, protect, conserve. We work with groups, NGOs, schools every single day of the year. But this is just one day, internationally recognized Environmental Day, because we are signatories to RAMSA that we celebrate.
Persons are asking me how to market it more because they're not seeing it.
Sharing Facebook Live, more shared, more even after today.
And stakeholder engagement because we are strapped for cash. So it's costs. We do advertise, but the cost of going into the papers and those sorts of things. So how we do it, we have our environmental bus. That we go to schools because we think we all know that children is our future. We all know what the tenements of sustainable development. So we go to schools. We produce brochures, not as much of late because we know the economic downturn of the world right now. So I don't know exactly how stakeholders can engage and assist us, but we do have EMA helping a lot with helping getting printed information out there. So if there are any other IMA, any other
Yeah.
institutes that wouldn't have. University of West Indies usually pitches in with knowledge sharing and things like that. Yeah.
University of Trinidad and Tobago as well, the Marine Campus, you could have. But in terms of educating and sharing the information and doing more research.
Yeah.
Is there any other question that you would like to ask? If not, thank you for joining us. I hope this segment was very beneficial, educational to everyone. It was for me. Thank you again for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And if I must say, I know I wasn't asked to say, but I must say, I heard someone say yesterday at our official function that let's fall in love with the environment.
Yeah.
I think that was such a nice way to talk about love. With Valentine's Day coming up and we talk about love. Let's love our environment. Let's love our wetlands. Let's love our mangroves. I think if we start from a place of love, then a lot could happen.
Let's not take advantage of
Yeah,
our
exactly.
environment.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
gives so much to us.
Yes.
We need to give back to it as well.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have anything you would like to say?
No, I think Ms. Barker my colleague actually sent it off in a nice note about the environment.
Once again, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I hope
very
we do this more often.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.